So this is the section for APA citation. Now with APA citation, you'll notice if you go to Purdue or if you look in your textbook or even in the Valencia databases, it's a little tricky to cite websites. APA typically doesn't have much of a formatting for website citations, so this is the closest I could find. Now, the reason for that is most people argue that there are not websites up to the standard that APA uses, as APA is typically more for the sciences, so they usually prefer to use scientific studies or databases. So this is a version of how you can cite for the website. You can do some versions of this. So in the case of no author, you would go to title and then date in parentheses, the website name in italics, and the web address where it was from. Again, if you choose to, you can use date of access. Date of access can be handy, especially for longer projects. So if it's going to be an essay you'll be working on for months, it might not be a bad idea to keep track of when you looked at websites, especially because websites may be updated. Date of access would go after the URL. Now keep in mind, if you want to do date of access, just keep it in the same formatting. So for example, if I decide to add it, I would do access date, say is the 11th, 2018. Now, I can do it in that numerical form or I can write it out. The only important thing there is to keep it consistent. Now, if there is an author, it'd be last name, first initial. And you do that for all your authors. Then it would be date of publication, title, and website. Now here, for some reason, this didn't change. I have this in italics. Sorry about that. That goes in plain text. It's the website title that goes in italics. Now, in an academic journal, again, you would have authors, last name, first initial, date of publication, title of the article, then title of the journal, volume, number, and page range. Now, keep in mind, with the volume versus issue, a volume would be this one, in this case, 8. A volume is a large collection of work, so almost think about it like a date. And then the number would be within that range. Which one am I looking at? So to give a better example, let's say you have a journal that publishes 5 times in 1 year. And let's say they've been around for 4 years. So let's say I want the second year, but I want the third in that second year. So the volume would be 2, the number would be 3. In the case of this example, the volume would be 8, the number would be 3. Now, in some cases, the database may not have this information. That's okay, just skip it. For example, the first one does not have a issue number, but the second one does. So if they have one, great, include it. If not, just skip it. Then you move on to page numbers and then website if you got it from an online database. Now, a couple rules about authors. You never ever change the order of the authors. The position of first author is a position of honor. It means they did most of the work. So the way this works is if you have 3 or less, you write out the orders in the way they're presented. You would never change them to alphabetical or anything like that. It's exactly how they appear in the essay itself. So the example here, Rodriguez, Chu, and Lee, 2000. Now keep in mind, for in-text citation, that date has to go with the authors always. They just become a unit. Now, if you have 4 or more, it's the first author's last name followed by ET space AL period. So in this case, it would be Cross et al. 2011 argues that. So instead of the other names, it just is the first last name, ETAL, period, and then the date. Now, some websites and some news articles, for example, may also include the month and day, but for APA, all we need is the year. Now, moving down here, what to actually cite. So what actually goes in your essay itself? So keep in mind, the date must always go with the author. So you always follow the order of the works cited formatting. So if the first bit of information is the author, cite the author. Now, if they have no author, then you would cite by the title. Now keep in mind, the date can never be floating around by itself. It always has to be connected to something. So you might have the title and then the date, but you would never just have 2018 floating around. So always make sure the date is attached to either the author if you have one, and only if you don't have an author, attached to the title. Now, it's really important too, you need to use that first bit of information because whenever, let's say I want to look up a source, which I may do. So if you cite it by the title, but it's organized by the author in your works cited page, it's going to take me a few minutes to find it. So it's really important that whatever you have as the first bit of information in your works cited page, Again, your works cited page information would be this. That's how you cite it in the essay itself.